You know, I heard Rick Clunn say something the other day that really got me to thinking. You ready to run the guns? Time for blast off. Let's go. Hey guys, Todd here with you. Welcome back to Bassin 101. Track talking Ricky Clunn. Man, I tell you what, when he's a lot like Zell Rowland. You know, the old adage we had back in the day was when Zell Rowland talked top water, people listened. When Rick Clunn shares his knowledge, if you're smart, you listen. I mean, 50 years on tour, I think he's learned a thing or two, don't you? But he said something the other day that I was kind of like, this is what I've been doing the whole entire time. I just didn't realize I was doing it. He mentioned that you choose your fishing line depending on your personal system. Maybe not personal system, but your system. But it's personal. I mean, it is. I mean, everybody has their own system. Ricky's a power fisherman. So he fishes with, 12, 14, 17, 20-pound test. He don't play around. He's not really a finesse type fisherman unless he's throwing a slider. Because he even admits, he used to throw sliders back in the day. And he might want to think about throwing them again. But choosing your line to your own system, I think he's got something there. I'll explain what I'm talking about. This whole thing that I've gone over a few times of braid to a leader. Personally, I do have some performance stuff that I do have braid to a leader on a casting outfit. But especially on my spinning outfits, I have braid to a leader on my upper line stuff. Why? I don't have that strong of a hook set with a spinning rod. Or at least I don't think I do anyway. I mean, I've probably gotten better with it since my wrist has gotten a whole lot better. You guys might notice on some of the underwater stuff, I don't even take my wrist up anymore. So I keep it with me, but yeah. So I use a braid to a mono leader. That's my system. The other combos that I have, which I'll go over those, but the other combos I have, they're all vintage. And I use different types of line on each style of combo or whatever, just for fun. I try to keep period accurate with my line, depending on the combos. And it's all monofilament. You won't see me throw fluorocarbon. There's a lot of guys that watch this channel that I know hate fluorocarbon. For those of you that love fluorocarbon, sorry, there are those of us out here that hate fluorocarbon. Ricky Clunn doesn't even like fluorocarbon. A lot of reasons is because it doesn't fit his system. So what is your system? I mean, do you normally fish, say, rivers, maybe small ponds, maybe you like to wade, which the wading rivers are fun. Then you really don't need anything, let's say, heavier than 8 or 10 pound test, and you probably don't even need a casting outfit. You probably just use a spinning rod. And then you take your system and you use it accordingly. Either I know some guys like to use braid. Some do fluorocarbon, some do. Although if you choose fluorocarbon as one line for one rod for river fish and stuff like that, you're going to screw yourself out of topwater. But I think he's got a really good point. What is your system? Do you fish a lot of heavy cover? Well, if you do, then light line isn't going to do you any good. You're going to be better off with something like an XT or something like that, that's the line for your system. You see where I'm going with this? Can I get an amen? But now he had a really good point. Your system should dictate the line that you choose. And he was talking about pound test. He was also talking about type of line, everything. He's also, I don't think he's that big of a fan of braid. Just he's got confidence in monofilament. He knows what monofilament does. He knows the abrasion resistance and everything, and that's what he uses. It's a system for him that works. So what is your system that works? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about why you use the same line all the time? Or why you choose this pound test range for the water you fish most of the time? See, that's stuff I'm doing, and I didn't realize I was doing a system. I didn't realize that. So I found that to be really interesting. When he mentioned that, I was just like, I never thought of that, or never thought of it like that. So yeah, so that was pretty good. The words of wisdom from Rick Lund. Choose your line to your system. That's pretty ingenious if you think about it. I mean, have you ever thought of it like that? I bet if you start thinking, you start realizing, I do have lines that I use all the time, not realizing that you had a system. So until next time, remember, new techniques are trendy, but bass never change. May the Father bless you and keep in Yeshua's name, and as always, fish on.